Already been a bit quiet on the farm the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty wet weather, and there just hasn't been a lot going on really. Just sort of animals being fed and just keeping an eye on them. Nothing very major's been happening. But today we're actually off to buy, me and the missus are off to buy a new feeder for the sheep. So it's actually already paid for. We've just got to go pick it up. So Mum bought a new feeder. You've probably, if you've been sort of watching a few videos from the channel, you'll have seen the one that we have for that we've used to fatten up those fat lambs a little bit. So we've bought a second one of those so that we can be able to be feeding 2 mobs at once. So we're in the ute. We're going to head out of about 45 minutes out of town and yeah, go get this new feeder. The farmer's actually not selling it. He's sort of a in-between man for the company who makes them, and he sort of distributes them for them. So we're going to go to his farm and pick up the new feeder, and we'll head out to the farm, and we might set that up today. I think Dad was thinking about setting that up today. We'll see how we go. Also, I think Mum might have done that 20 hours she had to do on the quad bike, so I also might do the service, which is just literally oil change and a grease. So that won't be a very long job. So we might try and get that done as well today, but we'll see how we go. We just picked up the feeder. Well, I didn't do any filming there, obviously, didn't just give them a bit of privacy. So I'm just rechecking the straps. We've just driven a little bit down the road, so I'll quickly tighten them up and we'll head on the way. As you can see, it's pretty much the same as the one we already had. So just brand new, and that'll just allow us to be a little bit more dynamic with our feeding of the sheep and whatnot. So I'll quickly strap this down a little bit better and we'll hit the road. And there's just a bit of a look at it. Yeah, so tighten it down a little bit more and then we'll go. Don't worry, everybody, I made sure that when I tightened those straps down, I said the magic words. That's not going anywhere. And you know, if you say those words, your load will not go anywhere. It is tied securely. So let's go. Alrighty, just got back to the farm. So I've got it back here alright, no dramas. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it straight out actually to the sheep. So Dad's just going to get a bulker bag, we're going to fill it up with some grain. We'll take this out to the sheep and fill it up, and then that'll be all set up and ready to go. So yeah, not even a minute sitting around, it'll be straight out there and being used. So we'll fill this grain up and we'll head out. Good dirty mouse in there. What do you reckon? Okay, as you can probably see over there, we just finished up sending up that new grain bin. Got some grain in there for the sheep. I think Dad said he was going to bring a bale of hay out and put here so that the sheep sort of know and understand that there's grain in it, because these ones might not be familiar. I think he's actually going to go check the other grain bin and he might fill that up as well. I might have to give him a little bit of hand with that. But now I think I'm going to head back up to the workshop and I'm going to try and do that oil change on the quad bike. So we'll see how we go. I might have to give Dad a hand, so it might get broken up in between, but we'll head back up to the workshop and start doing some work on that. Alright, I've just brought the quad bike into the workshop. I gave it a quick wash there because it was caked in mud. And I didn't really want to be working on it while it was covered in mud. So the motorbike has clocked over its 20 hours braking period. It's probably done a little bit more, but that doesn't really matter. If you're not familiar with what's going on with this, about a month ago I did a full engine rebuild on it. So we've been breaking it in and now it's due to have the engine oil and filter changed. But I'm also going to change the front differential and the rear the transmission and the rear axle oil as well. Just get it all done. It haven't been done in a while. And then it's all going to be on, be starting afresh from the service schedule basically. So all I'm really doing is just changing oils and might give it a quick grease as well. And that's going to be pretty much it. So I'm just going to start at the front of the bike and do the front axle and then do the engine and filter. So we'll drop the oil out of the front axle and put some new stuff in there. So just draining the front axle here at the moment. Oil's looking a little bit dirty, but that's to be expected because we haven't done it for so long. Okay, so here's the front axle oil. I'm using the little pump out of this little container. Amazingly, it actually screwed straight on and fits perfectly, so that's really handy because I'm not able to actually tip it into a funnel. So you can see how much came out. There's like stuff all in there, and I'm not sure if it was a little bit low, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't take very much anyway. So I'm gonna just pump a little bit in there and just flush out any crap at the bottom, and then I'll fill it up with fresh oil and we'll whack the bungs back in, and then we'll be able to do the engine oil and filter. So just pumping out a little bit of the oil I'm putting in at the moment, just to get any rubbish out that might be in there, but it seems to be pretty clear already. So I'll let that last little bit drain out and I'll put the drain plug back in the bottom and fill it up all the way. Alrighty, so I just finished filling up the front axle here. So that's done, so now I can move on to the engine and the oil filter, which the oil filter is just there, that black thing. So I'll have to spin that off, chuck the new one on, and drain the old engine oil out. Alright, I've just got the engine oil here draining. So get all that out. And I'll drop the filter off as well, which is just up in there. Hopefully it's not too hard to get off with all the stuff in the way. So finish dropping the oil, get the filter off, and I'll fill that back up with oil as well, and then we'll be right to do the transmission and rear axle. Alright, so after much stuffing around, finally got the oil filter on, the old one off and the new one on. It's a real prick. It's why mechanics hate engineers, because they don't think about actually having to service things or repair them. They make them as hard as possible to do. So, thanks. Anyway, we're ready to fill that up with oil, so just dump some oil in there and then give it a run, check the oil again, and then top it up. So then once we've done that, we'll do the rear end as well, and then it should be done. I'll give it a quick grease. All right, just finished doing the bike. So I changed all the oils, gave it a grease. It's finished now, so now it can just go onto its normal service scheduling, which I'll fill out and put on the whiteboard. And yeah, can go from there. So I'm going to take it for a quick ride out the back, have a look at the crops. I think the missus is going to come as well for a ride. And yeah, go just make sure she runs all right still, which is no reason why it shouldn't. And have a quick look at the crops, see how they're going. I don't think there'll be much difference from last time, but we'll have a look anyway. So we'll see you when we get out the back. Alright, just coming out to this first crop of triticale. As you can see, it hasn't grown a great deal since last time. Apart from there, it looks pretty okay. The yellowing's sort of not so bad now. Might be a little bit more evenly yellowed. There's a bit more yellow area up there. But I think because we've had a little bit of warmer days, a couple of sunny days, it's starting to help it get along. So it seems to be coming up alright. I don't know what's going to happen with the spraying. We were talking maybe about getting like the planes that come in to spray for you. Just if it's going to be too wet for our spraying people to come out and actually get in the paddock, they might get bogged. So, because you can still see there's quite a lot of weeds out there that need to be sprayed, but that'll still be a little bit away yet, I think. So that's that crop kicking along all right at the moment. Doesn't look too bad. Definitely better than last year's crop. So we will make our way out to the back paddock. Maybe there's some sheep in the laneway. I don't really want to go harassing them too much, but we'll see how we'll go. We'll try and get out there. Alright, it's going to be a bit windier out here. So we're out of this very back paddock of triticale. So this is the wetter paddock out of the two. As you can see, there's more of a yellow tinge to it, especially down here because it's a bit lower than out in the rest of the paddock. And once you get over the top of it, it's sort of a bit of a hill. You get over the top, it's probably a little bit yellow on that other side too. It's definitely not as tall either, just because of the wetness. It's turned that yellow colour, it's struggling a bit. So, and also it's fighting alongside a lot of grass, because as I've said in the other couple of videos, and when we sowed this one, there was a lot more grass because the paddock wasn't worked as well. Not our fault, it was just a lot harder to get into it, and the paddock was a lot drier and harder when we hit it with the scarifier. So it was just sort of a bit more difficult to work with. But it is up. Hopefully we can just get some really nice weather now, because we're almost into spring. So hopefully a bit more warmer weather, let the ground dry a little bit, and hopefully this crop can rejuvenate a little bit and just get a little bit better start. Well, not start, but get a bit of a kick along. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. So we'll head back to the shed. We've looked at both the crops. Yeah, so we'll see you back in the shed. Alright, so we'll probably wrap this video up here. A bit of a shorter one. As I said at the start, there's not really a lot going on at the moment on the farm, just the usual, feeding sheep, feeding cows, etc, etc. As you can see, the farm's pretty wet. Yeah, I'm not sure what the next sort of project might be, but yeah, we'll come along with something. So yeah, as usual, thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Alright.